Final Dreadnought Round 2. This is Freedom Planet Part 6. You know, it feels like the finale, doesn't it? I don't think so. Again, I checked the level select. There's a few too many levels that are not unlocked yet on my save for this to be the final stage. I feel like we might have a little bit more ahead of us. But yeah, this is another one of those super fun. You know, I love the trope of a final level, or at least a level that's probably the final level, that doesn't have the typical color palette of it. Like the last level was very traditional final stage, if that makes sense. It was all red and orange and evil and This one's all clean and nice and cool, actually, in the colors. I love that. Like whenever, like sometimes when Sonic games have their final levels, like in space, and they're very relaxed feeling almost. I think not only did Sonic Adventure 2 do that, well, to an extent, but Sonic Advance 2 did that very well. I really loved, what was it, Chaos X or something like that zone? No, it was the previous one. I don't know, but Sonic Advance 2's penultimate or its absolute final stage, it had a very similar atmosphere where it was, I think, the final level pretty much, but it didn't really feel that much like a final stage. And actually, you know what else I love? I love Egg Rocket Zone from Sonic Advance. It's got one of the best theme songs in the game. It's got a really cool gimmick going on. Why am I talking about Sonic Advance? Because, come on, when you're playing a game like this, you're gonna have Sonic on the mind, obviously. And what the fuck is going on? Am I just getting reset? Okay, so that's gonna send me back here. I guess I have to go this way. Aha! Look at this, like... Can you hear the guitar? Okay, it's not chugging anymore. I kept quiet because there was like this nice chugging part. But like it's not chugging that hard anymore, so that's unfortunate, but yeah.
No, my ship is being infiltrated. Whatever shall I do? How about this?
Take this. It's no use. Take this. How about this? It's no use. It's no use. God. Okay, every time I hear something like that, the first thing that comes to mind. But you know what? This level is the worst level in the game. You know why? Because I just saw some boost pads. Or at least things that function like boost pads. And everyone knows boost pad bad. Because some person on the internet 10 years ago said so. No, okay. I think the inclusion of like stuff like this, these mechanics where your control is taken away from you, I think it's a necessary part. There it is, a boost pad. When it comes to the pacing of the stage, right? When a game is this action-packed, you gotta give the player a break a little bit. Now, you can't overdo it. You absolutely should not ever overdo that and basically make half the level play itself. Certain games I've played. But at the same time, you do have to... I value such things, and I feel like that's what makes the Sonic pace so distinct to me. The fact that you're not 100% at all times, because you really gotta be 100% when you are 100%, if that makes sense, right? You can take a couple breaks in the stage... Ow, my face! You can take breaks in the stages occasionally. Okay, that one's destroyed, that one's not. Let's see if we can take it out. Oh, see, again, use the fact that you have invincibility when you use your Dragon Boost. You know, I remember the game's ending, actually. I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm not a huge fan of the tonal shift. Right, let's just say things get kind of uncharacteristically dark, especially... Like, even in classic mode, it's still there. That little ending exchange, if that makes sense. It's not really a character exchange, per se, but, what's with these handles? Do I have to... Ow, 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 ow. Do I have to grab them at some point? Hold on, let's actually try and figure out what the fuck I'm supposed to do with these enemies, because there's so many of them, man. Like, I really don't know how you're supposed to get through this completely unscathed, and that's why it's such a big health bar, to be fair, you know, and why you can pick up, like, health refills even on higher difficulties, because it's like, I don't know how the fuck you're supposed to do this on, like, hard mode or something. Like, I don't know how the higher difficulties work exactly. Maybe they just decrease your health bar, they make it so you take more damage, effectively the same thing. Fortunately, you can still refill it with these things. Now, let's see where we gotta go. More boost pads. Oh, what is this? Dimps? Haha. Sonic 4 Episode 2, am I right? Oh, Episode 1 as well. But that, yeah, it's that infamous... I spent a long time trying to find it. That section in the Oil Desert Zone where, like, you just get boost pad, boost pad, boost pad. And it's really... I don't get why, like, some people really bring attention to that part. And it's like, oh, it's the worst bit of level design in the world. I don't know. What is my idea of bad level design? I guess level design that isn't necessarily overly linear, but level design that just takes... It makes it feel like not a game. It takes control away too often. And that's probably why I don't actually like Cosmic Fall all that much from Shadow the Hedgehog. I think I talked about that in that fucking hour-and-a-half long video I did, where you spend most of the level just sitting there, you know? And it's unfortunate because it's got such cool music, it's got a really cool theme going on, and it overall is a very straightforward stage, and it's very fun when it wants to be fun, but then it's like, no, maybe I should replay it. I still have my save file, so I think I should just do that. Oh shit, they made her animate way more smoothly. That's not good. Anything that animates smoother than me must die. That's the Terraria logic as well. If it's a higher resolution than you, you must kill it. Yeah, so this I imagine would be this would be a huge, like, emotional turn if I gave a shit, to be honest, but, no, I mean, I don't think a game like this really, I don't think it makes sense for such a thing to happen, although it's a pretty interesting fight because of the attack pattern. So let's try and see. She's using modified versions of her own abilities against you in that way. It's really interesting because you can actually play as her before this point. Now, you don't lose the character or anything. You know, I've always wondered, you know how in Grand Theft Auto 5 it's like you get that choice between killing the characters or whatever. Does the game genuinely take away control from one of the other two characters that you have to kill? For the, I mean, obviously you just pick the third option where you get to keep all of them alive. But it makes me wonder, like, would they really do that? Especially for a AAA game, to just get rid of the game's content like that? I mean, you can always go back to a previous save, I imagine, and keep playing as that character, but it's just a weird choice. No, this game doesn't do that, though. Like, after I kill her, I don't even fucking know her name, yeah, it'll be fine. Like, I'll still be able to use her in the levels if I wanted to, though her gameplay style doesn't really fit my taste. She's not exactly like, she kind of looks like Cream the Rabbit, and you'd think she would have like an Amy Rose thing going on with the gameplay where she's like a little slower, and she is slower, except that, oh god, what the fuck, the inside of her skull opens up. That's a little bit, you know what, I'm actually a huge fan of cartoony gore in this way, in the sense that it's not necessarily violent, but it's still kind of gross, you know, like you see bits of the characters that, it's like gore, but it's not gory, if that makes sense, like this, you know? Like a cartoony sort of simple design that has, like, that obviously depicts something that would be very violent on a, you know, on a real person. I think it's cool.
Mila? Mila!
I don't really know how I'm supposed to feel about that. Like, clearly the character is distraught over it, but the fact that there was, like, an actual voice acting performance there makes it feel really, out of tone. Like, I don't know, like, maybe just having the character just sit there for a bit with a sad expression would have been more appropriate than actually have the character speak. I don't know, it's like the voice actors did a good job, it's just that's the problem. I actually would have preferred if it was kind of an unconvincing, shitty performance, because then you don't feel weirded out. I don't like that. Maybe I just don't like feeling things in my games. I don't like it when games have things that, like, are explicitly meant to make you feel something. I'd rather create those feelings myself, if that makes sense. Like, for example, when I play like a game I really, really enjoy, and I get like I sucked into it, I start to just feel things. You know, like, for example, I was playing some Hexen, and man, I just love sitting there and being a part of this dark and gritty world. But it's not gritty, it's actually a beautiful world with the game's art direction, and it's almost comforting and warm in a way. Oh, for fuck's sake, I remember this section. You have to avoid those teleporter thingies because they send you all the way back down, while the Mega Man blocks, they have an actual name, like a weird Japanese name, while they disappear and reappear. It's not as bad as actual Mega Man, of course, but still, there you go, that's how we go up. But yeah, I don't know, it's just, I feel like it's more, it feels more natural when those emotions that you feel when playing a video game are sort of created on your own via context that's very gameplay driven and environmentally driven. You know, like I love games where I just want to be in the environment. Those are the kind of games that are very powerful for me. There's also a matter of the combination of what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing. So this is going to sound super fucking autistic and stupid, but whenever I play like a Sonic game I really like, or just, it doesn't have to be Sonic, it happens to be Sonic often. It doesn't have to be though, it can be anything. But when the music, the level set pieces, and the overall flow of the gameplay just kind of connects perfectly, it becomes like a fucking religious experience. You know what I mean? Like when I played Shadow Generations, like less than a month ago, right? Because the game is so recent. I can't believe I'm saying that, you know, that I'm saying something like this about a very recent game. And I got to Sunset Heights and like the guitars kicked in, even though again I've criticized that particular arrangement, but still it's pretty cool. And the music kicked in and I was running through the stage and all of a sudden it was like, wow, like it was like my eyes widened, if that makes sense. Or no, you know what's even better? Chaos Island for that stage with the piano part and everything. Couldn't really, I could live without the more heavily electronic segments of the song. I mean, the whole song is electronic. You know, that's not a real piano, right? It's all MIDI. And those really amateurish sounding cymbals just out of nowhere, just like tss, tss, just like those 4 cymbal hits that like with nothing supporting them. Like typically when you hear something like that in a song, you would have like some chords building in the background, or like some kind of noise that gets EQ'd and it has like a rising sound. No. It's just 4 identical cymbal hits. No change in velocity, no nothing. It sounds so amateurish, you know? Like the kind of shit that I would have made in my first year of Ableton Live. But hey, you know what? It's fine, because when the piano kicks in and Shadow's just grinding on those rails and it's just fucking the camera angles, it creates something special. And this game is able to it's able to create something special as well, completely without the voice acting, like at all. It doesn't need it. It doesn't need any of the emotional weight. Like, if I could hear the music a little better, I'd probably be just as immersed into this experience right now. It's just that when you're commentating, it's kind of hard for that to happen, especially with an action-packed game like this, you know, and I don't ever plan on doing a more minimal commentary of, like, a horror game or something, because it's like, well, what's the point that... Oh, okay, fuck, I thought it crashed or something, Jesus. Don't freeze the game like that, jeez. I hate when games do that. When they'll throw something in that feels like a game crash. It's a very specific way of presenting it, but that right there, that was so game crash-y, you know what I mean? I was worried about that, but no, it's not a oh, fuck. I think this might be the final boss. You know, he kind of reminds me in design to Metal... what was his name? Metal... Oh god, what was Metal Sonic Kai? Sonic CD, basically. Sonic CD, I'm a fucking idiot. Knuckles Chaotix, that one. The final boss. Well, the real final boss. The really fucking creepy one. Or I guess the one that makes makes the bad ending so creepy. You know, I think it's kind of a cooler bad ending, to be honest. So I'm a huge fan of, like, bad endings that feel kind of cool anyway and feel almost canon. You know, because it's like he's always gonna be causing trouble, right? Because he's the bad guy, so it almost makes sense to leave him there. Okay, so that's how you avoid... Ow, okay, I didn't... Fuck, this is hard. Good thing I have regen health, because it's like, I'm just trying to figure out how to avoid his patterns. So let's focus for a bit. Okay, so... He shoots those lasers, that's easy to avoid. He shoots the goop, that's not so easy to avoid. There's this crystal in the middle, doesn't really do much for me. When those 4 exclamation marks show up, that means he's gonna do a full screen attack, where I have to basically use my Dragon Boost to avoid taking damage, because again, the Dragon Boost makes you invincible. So you can run around like because it is a Sonic game, and when that happens, you gotta make sure you have full boost. The problem is, I don't always have full boost when that happens. So let's just focus on, oh shit, don't get killed. Okay, do I have full boost? I have full boost. Wait until... that did not go... Oh, no, I don't have full boost anymore. That's not good. Okay, we avoided that. That's good. That's good. We avoided taking damage there. Hit him. I'm not really doing a whole ton of damage, but that's okay because I just want to focus on staying alive. So I think when he does that, yep, there it is. I should have used my dragon thing. I didn't have any in reserve, though. That's the problem. It regens quite slowly. So you have to really be careful, and you also have to make sure you don't waste it. Oh god. There you go. Okay, that's better, except now he's gonna do it, and I don't have any in reserve. What do I do about that situation, though? Because when you don't have any dragon boost, what the fuck do? You can't really avoid taking damage. Oh, see? Okay, I'm just barely alive now. Stay up on top. Stay on top. There you go. Good. Wait until he does the slow-mo thing. That's your chance to do some damage to him. Just keep running around. Fortunately, this game has Sonic 4 physics, which means I can just kind of walk up the slope. And look, she totally just sticks to it, right? For once, I gotta say, I'm actually happy that... Oh, the HUD went away. Is he dead? I'm gonna assume there's one more phase. There's no way this is the end, right? Right? Yep, there he is. I'm gonna assume we're gonna have our final boss, right? Oh, whoa, he's also very well animated. Everyone's very well animated in this game because this game looks great. What can I say? But no, I do love the emphasis on having all the different parts rotate like that. I love if you can just kind of run on the ceiling even though you can't even see the ceiling. How do we attack him? So we obviously cyclone into the green spot. Ooh, he can do a screw attack. And I'm not going to edit in the sound effect because honestly, I can't be fucked to look up Some Call Me Johnny's old videos to edit the sound effect in. You know, if you know, you know what I'm referencing right now. In his older videos, whenever he would play a Metroid game and he would say screw attack, there would be a voice with some reverb on it going screw attack, and I might even be able to recreate it myself. You know, then he double tracks it. I think it's multiple voices stacked on top of each other, and then, you know, and at some point he got pissed at it, and then he shot it in the face, and it's dead. And then he had the screw attack come back, except not the sound bite. He said, like, that fucker is dead. And I thought that was really funny. Nice little bit of continuity. I love YouTuber continuity because with the way YouTube works, there's a pretty good chance that most people watching their videos will be like different people who might not have seen the previous videos, right? Because you always want to have new people coming in. That's generally how it works. So those kind of jokes only really work for the people who are a little more dedicated. Is this the end? Is this the final boss? Because it might be. I might have to give you guys my my final thoughts during the credits, like I always do. Oh no, wait. No. Robin's still in control, and he's got a health bar. Now this is the final boss. Alright. We almost prematurely ended it. I have a bad habit of doing that, but that's because I'm afraid of... To be fair, I can always just overdub the outro. Like, I could just remove whatever the fuck I said in real time and then record it in post. That's true, and I've done that for plenty of episodes. Even if I didn't necessarily say the wrong thing, I just sounded like I got cut off or something, I would do that. How do we fight this guy properly? Like, what's his attack pattern? So see, this game has a little bit of Mega Man in its blood with the way that the attack patterns on the enemies work. So that's very Storm Eagle, come to think of it. Oh, speaking of Some Call Me Johnny, Storm Eagle. That's also a nice, deep little reference to something that was made more than 10 years ago. Fuck me, that feels so old. Like, it's interesting because, like, for YouTube, that feels really old. For video games, it doesn't feel that old. This game is, like, 11 years old, but it doesn't feel old, if that makes sense. But for internet, I guess it's because we make, like, a video game takes years to make. A YouTube video takes, like, a second to make. So they feel more dated because of the fact that we just have so many more. It's kind of like how it still shocks me to this day that Call of Duty is a series that started in 2003, and yet it feels older than most of my other favorite series. You know, it's like, what? It feels old, but that's because there's just been so many fucking games. It's like Assassin's Creed. Like, will you believe me if I tell you the first Assassin's Creed game was all the way in 2007? 2007! Like, what the fuck? It feels like so much longer ago because there's been so many of them. You know? God. Anyway, what about this boss fight? Well, he's pretty tough, but you know what? Nothing too unpredictable. I just gotta make sure not to get hit by that. Yeah. That's like his hardest to avoid attack. Those mines are completely ineffective. And it's it. That's it. Is he done? There can't be any more fake outs. Like, he's gotta be done. Okay, yeah, I'll see you guys in the credits with my final thoughts, as always. Freedom Planet is so much more than the best Sonic game Sega didn't make. In fact, its influences aren't limited to just that series. Although the breakneck speeds might occlude it, there's actually a much wider range of inspiration taken from gaming's past in terms of boss patterns and designs, level designs and tropes, and even the characters themselves. The heavier emphasis on combat never obstructs the fast-paced gameplay. If anything, it's quite refreshing to play a 2D platformer where running into enemies doesn't hurt you immediately. Every stage is also crafted very carefully, as to feature just enough set pieces to stand out, while not so many that the platforming loses focus. The only thing I truly don't care for in this game is, as I have mentioned several times, the plot. It's not even a matter of the writing, but more so the tonal disconnect between my expectations of a game that looks and plays like this and how the story presents itself. Funny thing is, the minor character interactions during bosses and stages are enough to build an understanding as to what the characters are like, even with just a couple of spoken lines. I won't harp on this anymore because I'm sure you're sick of listening to this point by now. What I can't complain about is the presentation. Stunning sprite work and animation combined with a great blend of aesthetic sensibilities ranging from the Genesis to the PS1 makes this game really pop amongst the hundreds of platformers that try to recapture a similar look. The soundtrack, albeit not the most memorable, is well produced and has a distinctly fan game sound. Not exactly sure what that means, but I think you understand when I describe it that way. It goes without saying that if you haven't played this game, you should. It's available on pretty much everything, so go on ahead. Yet another BK play comes to a close, and I hope you decide to join me for whatever comes next. See you guys then.